In the previous part, we saw that Jin, the annoying guy, was trying to bully Sanjin, the weak kid, and steal all his runes. But our hero, Hansu, intervened and put Jin in his place, saving Sanjin. Later, after defeating Warland mermaids, Hansu reached a certain amount of runes, that is 50 runes, and the fairy appeared. The fairy recognized Hansu as the guy who raised his hand in the start. Now, the fairy gave him a reward for surpassing 50 runes. The reward was he can ask for any 3 runes of his choice. The fairy and the others thought Hansu would pick the healing rune, but they all got disappointed as Hansu picked a rune that is immune to magic. Hansu knew well that this rune was better than any other runes, which is why he picked it. After giving this rewards, the fairy left. Later, on the next floor, Hansu showed them a way to collect runes, but he told them not to collect runes in this way because it had more disadvantages than advantages. However, Hansu was collecting this to use as a substitute for money in the tutorial zone. Then, he looked at his weapon, which looked all used up and dull. He told them to listen carefully and said, "Whether you follow me or collect runes, do whatever you want. I don't care about that." But before going further, he told them to hand over their weapons to him. Now, the annoying guy smirks and tells Hansu that he's trying to rob them. He tells him that he should use his own weapon and shouldn't ask him to hand over his weapon. Hansu says his blade has become too rough, so there's no use to it. He also needs extra blades, but Jin doesn't hear or understand a single thing. He tries to argue by saying, "If you take all weapons, then how will we fight?" He says he wants to fight too. He sarcastically says, "What do you want us to do? Stand with our thumbs in our mouths behind your back?" To be honest, I think it would suit him to do that, haha. We see Sangjin was ready to give his weapons to Hansu, but this makes Jin more furious. He shouted at Sangjin and tells him to shut up. He was standing in between Hansu and the other two. Hansu was very calm even in this situation. He has a glow in his eye while asking him if he wants to fight the guy down there. Jin's confidence was at the peak of Mount Everest, and he told Hansu that of course he will fight. What's there to be scared about? Jin feels hatred toward Hansu, and he always hated the condescending look in his eyes. But we see Hansu ignores him and thinks that he was expecting him to say no from the beginning. The annoying guy Jin was offended to see Hansu ignoring him. Hansu thinks he doesn't know what's down there. He knows it doesn't concern him anymore. He tells them all that now he will give them 2 options. First, I am out, and you guys can pursue it on your own. And the second, you guys stay out of it and watch me apprehend it alone. Their jaws drop after hearing this, and they all are dumbfounded. He asks them to decide what they want to do. He won't interfere with their decision. The weak kid looks afraid and tells them that he will stay out of it. And Minhee also decides the same. He trusts Hansu's decision and wants to support him. She knows if Hansu is saying this, that definitely means the thing down there must be really dangerous. But Jin tries to influence her by saying that if that thing is dangerous, then they should fight together. He tells her that we should help each other when we are in danger. He claims that Hansu is a rascal who wants to leave his friends behind. I don't know what is wrong with this guy's mind. He definitely needs a good doctor. He thinks that Hansu is trying to leave them here so that he takes all the prizes for himself. He tells Minhee that they should fight together and take the rewards for themselves. Jin thinks that he doesn't care about Sangjin because he is already weak to start with. He just wants Minhee to fight with him. If she decides otherwise, then he will definitely get in trouble. Upon hearing the word friends, Hansu is taken aback. He thinks friend is such a good word, but it's not easy to find or make friends in this world. In his mind, he thinks that they should be glad that Keldian didn't come back here. You guys know who Keldian is, right? If you don't know, let me remind you that Keldian is the same guy who suggested Hansu to kill all the useless people he crossed paths with. Hansu thinks if Keldian were here, then he would probably be wandering around in the indigo or purple zone. We still don't know a lot of things in this world. What is the indigo zone or what is the purple zone? I'm sure we will know this soon. Hansu knows he can't stop here. He has to go and find friends of his past life. He tells them to stop arguing and think about it downstairs. He says again that he wouldn't have said anything if they could fight the thing down there. Now I am really curious what's down there. But the stupid guy is really stupid. He is thinking that he won the argument and he gives an evil smile. He thinks finally they are getting somewhere. He thinks since Hansu was trying to go alone that definitely means he knows there's something down there. They all go downstairs, and in the fraction of a moment, they come out running all scared and screaming. To be honest, they deserve it. This confident stupid guy is now running with all his speed. To be honest, it's pretty funny. Minhee screams that she was right. She says she knew that it would be dangerous down there. The annoying guy gets a flashback of a few moments before. When they went down, they all were stunned with their eyes wide open in fear. There was a huge snake-like monster in front of them. This looks like a monster from a whole different dimension. They all were looking like ants in size in front of that huge monster. Jin, the annoying guy, looks behind in anger and thinks he can't believe he's going to fight it all alone. He feels that Hansu is not in the right mind. But now we see Hansu standing confidently in front of this monster. I am sure our hero Hansu will definitely defeat this monster, but I am curious how he will do that. The snake monster doesn't look weak, so this fight is not going to be easy. Hansu throws his bag down and gets ready to attack. The snake was so huge that the roof was almost touching its head. The monster gets ready to attack. Hansu gets in defense mode and quickly hides behind a pillar. He notices what the snake is doing and thinks about something. After this, he quickly covers both his ears. The snake uses a long-range attack and throws a sonic beam at Hansu. The shockwaves were so strong that it almost destroyed the pillar. The pillar shatters down, and the concrete blocks from it scatter around. We see Hansu was expecting this attack. This attack from the monster was made out of magic, and due to Hansu's magic resistance, it was bearable for him. The snake monster is huge and has powerful shockwaves that require magic. Its scales are so durable that no ordinary sword can slice through. In other words, we can say this monster is not an easy opponent. No ordinary human can defeat it. But Hansu says he knows its weakness. He uses his dexterity and quickly goes near its tail. He looks at this thing with the intent to kill and says it definitely has strong scales. But the area between them is bound to be weak. He throws a dagger between its scales, and blood splashes all over. This huge creature screams in pain and agony. Hansu leaves the dagger stuck there and moves behind. As we all know, a monster that is hurt becomes more violent. The snake starts its rampage and starts to destroy all the things near him. Now Hansu has got cornered, and he has no place to hide. This huge thing is still standing in front of him. It again uses the sonic shockwaves and directly attacks Hansu. Although Hansu quickly covered his ears, still he can feel a tremendous amount of pain. Suddenly we see the monster stops its attack, and before Hansu can know what is happening, he gets hit by its tail. Its attack was so strong that it crashed Hansu into the wall behind. Hansu is badly injured. He notices something and thinks it's finally reaching to him. We see this monster is actually shivering. This is a tutorial zone, so even with high physical resistance, it is still vulnerable to poison. Hansu looks at his daggers and notices that he still has only 5 daggers left. He was already aware that 1 or 2 daggers won't do the job. That's why he asked all of them to give their weapons to him. Hansu stands up again with the intention to finish this fight soon. I'm sure he has already put poison on the dagger, and he is playing around to waste time so that the poison makes its reaction. On the other side, we see Minhee stops from running and looks behind. She was very far from the place where Hansu was fighting the monster. She thinks the same, that she is so far but she can still hear all the sounds. Hansu's all alone. She is worried about him. She has lots of things going on in her mind, but the only thing that matters to her was Hansu. She wants to know if he is okay or not. The annoying guy gets annoyed by this and asks Minhee to come with them. He reminds her that they don't have any daggers or weapons with them, so they have to run back to the convenience store. But Minhee's heart and mind were only stuck at one place. She wasn't sure what she has to do, but suddenly she moves behind and tells them that she has to go see him. Jin gets more and more furious. He abuses them and thinks that they have been ignoring him ever since they came here. But now he has no choice but to go behind Minhee. All 3 of them go down again. When they reach down, Minhee shouts and calls Hansu to see if he is okay. But as soon as she sees him, her eyes widened open in fear. She can't believe her eyes what she was watching. In front of her, the snake has caught Hansu in its mouth. Its sharp teeth were piercing Hansu's left hand. And as we all know, that snake must be poisonous. That means Hansu's life is in great danger. But if we look closer in Hansu's other hand, there is still 1 dagger left. Hansu is still conscious. That means there is still a scope that he can defeat this creature. But how will he do that? And even if he kills it, will he be able to survive? We can see he is seriously wounded. Let's hope some miracle happens and our MC defeats this monster. Even I am very curious to know what will happen now. To watch the next video, click the video on the left side. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.